prior to that call would have been on the call.
Well, the call was arranged by Jeremy Farrar. You should ask him.
Okay. Did U.S. tax dollars flow through a grant recipient to the lab in China?
I'm sorry. What was?
Did U.S. tax dollars flow through a grant recipient to the lab in China?
Yes, of course. It was a sub-award to the Wuhan Institute.
And who approved that award?
Excuse me?
And who approved that award? What agency approved that award?
National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
Your agency approved that, right?
Yes, it did. After.
Did that have anything to do with this downplaying of the lab leak theory?
No.
Nothing to do with it.
Nothing.
What is it? What is it about humanity that wants to go to all the details and stuff and listen? You know, these guys like Fauci get up there and start talking. You know, he doesn't know anything really about anything, and I'd say that to his face. Nothing. The man thinks you can take a blood sample and stick it in an electron microscope, and if it's got a virus in there, you'll know it. He doesn't understand electron microscopy, and he doesn't understand medicine, and he should not be in a position like he's in. Most of those guys up there on the top are just total administrative people, and they don't know anything about what's going on at the bottom. You know, those guys have got an agenda, which is not what we would like them to have, being that we pay for them to take care of our health in some way. They've got a personal kind of agenda. They make up their own rules as they go. They change them when they want to, and they smugly, like Tony Fauci, does not mind going on television in front of the people that pay his salary and lie directly into the camera. You can't expect the sheep to really respect the best and the brightest. They don't know the difference, really. I mean, I like humans. Don't get me wrong, but basically, the vast majority of them do not possess the ability to judge who is and who isn't a really good scientist. I mean, that's a problem. That's a main problem, actually, with science, I'd say, in this century, because science is being judged by people. Funding is being done by people who don't understand it. Okay, who do we trust? Fauci? Fauci doesn't know enough to, you know. If Fauci wants to get on television with somebody who knows a little bit about this stuff and debate him, he could easily do it, because he's been asked. I mean, I've had a lot of people, president of the University of South Carolina asked Fauci if he'd come down there and debate me on the stage in front of the student body, because I wanted somebody who was from the other side to come down there and balance because I felt like, well, these guys can listen to me, but I need to have somebody else down here that's going to tell me the other side. But Fauci didn't want to do it.
Hey, this your boy Belly. Welcome back to the channel. And it's finally out. It's finally out. A lot of the information is finally coming out. Man, the truth is finally coming out. And yeah, we funded gain-of-function research that led to COVID that spread from Wuhan. And Fauci admitted that, you know, apparently he didn't make it up, the whole mask and the 6 feet distancing thing, allegedly. But he said that it just appeared out of nowhere, out of thin air. So I guess Casper the Friendly Ghost or some fucking body that we can't see just made up the 6 feet distancing and the mask wearing out of thin air, I guess, from his words. That'll be in another video. But man, I kind of get emotional on this topic because my grandma, like, when she took that shot, her world started turning upside down. That's why I'm gonna just leave it. I don't want to get too emotional on this channel because I kind of feel like that's why she checked out early. You know, that whole pandemic thing, and you know, just all the lies just we've been told. And I'm gonna let you watch this absolute thrashing from Rich McCormick, Republican. You know, not that well, yeah, it does matter because Democrats they helped Fauci try to cover a lot of this shit up, and they don't want to hold him accountable. But man, absolute thrashing right here, and I'm glad the facts are out. I'm owed apologies from a lot of people, but I don't even want them at this point. If you want to apologize to me, start using your brain moving forward. Start making logical decisions. You know, start thinking and researching before you start, you know, running your fucking mouth to people that might know what they're talking about. You know, that's the apology I want. Do better. Let's get into the video.
You said in an interview that you gave as part of an audiobook written by Michael Specter that you believed an institutional should make it hard for people to live their lives so they'd feel pressured to get vaccinated. Could we run the audio clip on that, please?
You think can be done about it? I have to say that I don't see a big solution other than some sort of mandatory vaccination. I know federal officials don't like to use that term. Once people feel empowered and protected legally.
See, look, one thing you got to know, guys, like I say in a lot of my videos, body language. Look at Fauci's body language while this thing is playing.
Officials don't like to use that term. Once people feel empowered and protected legally, you are going to have schools, universities, and colleges are going to say, you want to come to this college, buddy? You're going to get vaccinated. Lady, you're going to get vaccinated. Yeah. Big corporations like Amazon and Facebook and all of those others are going to say, you want to work for us, you get vaccinated. And it's been proven that when you make it difficult for people in their lives, they lose their ideological bullshit and they get vaccinated.
You guys heard that? Fauci was disgusted that people didn't want to take his experiment. You know what he did? He said, let's make it harder on their lives. Let's have universities tell these kids and these students, no, you can't come here and learn. You can't educate yourself unless you take this experimental vaccine we got right here. You know, unless you put these masks on, unless you do the shit we tell you to do and take all your freedoms. Matter of fact, let's go to the jobs and tell these people at these big corporations and these jobs that, hey, you can't even come work for us unless you take this experimental shot. Let's make it hard on their lives so that it gets rid of that ideological bullshit, which basically means self-thinking, freedoms. Fauci was so disgusted that we have rights and that we can make decisions and choices for ourselves, that he pushed for society to make it harder to work and go to school and everything, and called us idiots, basically. Yo, the disrespect towards Americans and towards humanity, this guy committed crimes against humanity. He should be sitting here in handcuffs like how they do people in courts that's been charged with actual fucking crimes. He has been charged with something far worse than anybody in the American prison system has been charged with. Yeah, you can go to the rapists, you can go to the serial murders. Nobody has nothing on this guy sitting at this table right here, in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure in millions of other people's opinions too, if not billions.
Thank you. Are all objections to COVID vaccinations ideological bullshit, Dr. Fauci?
No, they're not, and
Thank
that's
you.
not what I was referring to.
Well, in reference to making it hard for people to get education, traveling, working, I'd say it very much was in context. And I take great offense to this. Miss Allison Williams testified before this committee about losing her job because...
Can I just point out this dude right here, back here, is hilarious? I'm going to just run it back for a second. This guy is hilarious.
Traveling, working, I'd say it very much was in context. And I take great offense to this. Miss Allison Williams testified before this committee about losing her job because she sought an exemption for ESPN's vaccine mandate, which came from recommendations from bureaucrats like yourself. She and her husband were actively working with a fertility expert, a physician, on how to get pregnant, and agreed with the premise that she was young, healthy, wanted to get pregnant, and shouldn't get the vaccination for medical purposes. But she was fired because you made it hard, just like you said in your statement, because you didn't want to make sure that the ideological bullshit got in the way of her working, of living her life, of making a medical decision with her healthcare professional. I think America should take great offense to this.
Facts.
That's exactly what you meant when you said making it hard for people to live without getting a vaccination. You affected people's ability to work, travel, be educated, to actually flourish in American society, to self-determine, as we're all given God-given rights.
And you know, that's crazy. He likes to butt in everything when he feel like somebody getting on too hard or exposing some of his lies. He has to sit here and fucking take that because you know it's of every fact is getting slammed right in his face. And he has to sit there and take it because he's a piece of shit. Wow, man. We literally like lost some of the best people in our lives to this piece of shit right here and his poor decisions. Being the head of this pandemic that he himself wrote a check and funded the Wuhan lab that it came from.
Shame on you. Dr. Fauci, you've become Dr. Fear. Americans do not hate science. I don't hate science. The American people hate having their freedoms taken from them. You inspired and created fear through mass mandates, school closures, vaccine mandates that have destroyed the American people's trust in our public health institutions. This fear you created will continue to have ripple effects over generations to come. You have already seen its effects in education, in the economy, and everything else. Quite frankly, you said, if you disagree with me, you disagree with science. Dr. Fauci, I disagree with you because I disagree with fear. And with that, I yield.
Because that's all he was fear. He wasn't no science. He just came out and said that it wasn't no science or anything behind the masking or any of that. It just appeared. How the fuck does something just appear like that and be forced on the whole country and other countries? And I'm glad he brought up that point of the ripple effect. Yeah, we're gonna feel this shit for decades, man. What Fauci did. For decades. Look at the old people now. They still don't even go anywhere without having that mask on their face that's obstructing their breathing, having to breathe in carbon dioxide all day. Like, yeah, we're affected by this in so many ways. Look at the kids, younger generations. I hate to call them stupid, man, but that's what happens when you mess up almost 3 years of their education. And the American education system was already lacking. It needs to be gutted. You go look at China schools. They have them kids in kindergarten and stuff learning how to cook and do basic stuff. Cut vegetables and stuff like that. They don't use like real sharp knives and all that stuff, but they got little stuff for them that's kid safety and kid friendly for them to do that stuff. And they clean up and they doing all that stuff. We do none of that over here. We put masks on our kids' face and put them on a computer that they never sat in from and expected them to learn just because Dr. Fauci thought so. Because it just appeared in his fucking brain. Like, I'm so disgusted with this shit, man. Because like I said, the loss. We had so much loss. So many people that weren't getting the medical attention they needed. Because they were getting told that, something that they needed treatment for other stuff. And they wasn't getting that because it was labeled COVID. And like how it came out, how the ventilators killed all them people in China and how they did the same thing over here. Nobody's really talking about that. Some places do. Man. Well, y'all seen it like I seen it, man. Some of us already knew this type of stuff. But it's more to come out. And it's going to get even crazier. Y'all seen it like I seen it, man.